Jim Gazzolo, Heath, Schroyer. The last time we're going to see Coach until July.
I know you're going to miss me.
Yeah. We'll have to hear. Let's see. What we'll have to hear about.
We got the caravans now, the 11th, the 13th, and the 18th.
July 11th.
Yep.
So
We're going to DeRidder, Westlake, and then Lake Charles. How about that?
No sulfur this year.
No sulfur. Sulfur didn't turn out last year, so we're going to Westlake.
And Lake Charles.
Yep. Let's switch it up a little bit.
DeRidder. I'm probably not going to. Nothing against DeRidder, but.
Understood.
And who goes?
We'll take some selective coaches to go and speak. Obviously, myself, Dr. Roos will probably go with us. But it'd be great. Our ticket office will go. We'll have some cheerleaders and things like that. We'll promote season tickets and just get out to the community and bring the coaches to the people.
Okay, got a lot of things to get into because this is a summer that I thought a lot more things would happen than have happened.
Okay.
I thought we'd see national realignment at a huge number. We haven't seen it yet. A lot of talk.
Yep.
A lot of talk about the Big Ten and who they're expanding to. A lot of talk about the SEC. But we haven't seen that. Are you surprised we haven't seen that?
Maybe a little.
Is there just like one going to domino fall and then it's it?
That's what I think. I think it's kind of a house of cards. I think that everyone is kind of jockeying and positioning and kind of waiting for that first, shoe to drop, if you will. And then, as we all know, once one happens, it goes crazy.
Are you in talks with anybody?
No. I mean, we do.
You wouldn't tell us anyway.
No, I mean, I wouldn't tell you anyway. But the biggest thing that we're doing, really, no.
Why ask?
No, I'm not in any conversations right now. But what I am doing is trying, like I said before, is trying to position ourselves and do the things we need to do to continue to upgrade our facilities, to continue to fundraise, and put the things in place that need to be there for if and when that day comes.
Now, you go to a lot of AD stuff.
I do.
Do you ever sit around and do package deals with other schools like your size and say, maybe we should both go somewhere, or maybe we both should go this, or we'd be a good combination?
No, because really
everybody's into their own?
For sure. I mean, there's
everybody's worried about number one.
Yeah, it's no honor among thieves, right? So there are some great conversations. I love the AD meetings because you learn a lot, and like any other convention, you learn things in the sessions, but you also learn a lot of them when you're having breakfast or lunch or grabbing a cup of coffee or a beer with colleagues. That's where you really learn and what's going on at different institutions and what people are doing. I mean, listen, I've said all along that I don't have all the answers, and if there's a great idea over here, then I'm going to try to steal it and make it ours.
Is there a lot of talk these days nationally about schools your size, FCS schools, wanting money games and losing them out? And is that a huge fear?
It is a big fear. It's a huge fear, because, there's only, with the Power Fives and where they're trying to go with their schedules, and that, again, comes from TV. The FCS going to the high majors to get $500,000, $600,000. People are really worried about it, and if they go away, where do you get that money? Where do you get a $500,000 every year to your budget? I mean, it is something that every institution our size is worried about.
Now you've got Florida this year. Mm-hmm. You've got Texas A&M next year. Mm-hmm. Do you have anybody after that yet?
Working with LSU. Working with LSU on a 2-year deal in 26 and 29.
26 and 29? Mm-hmm. So you'd go back in 29 then?
Correct. That's what we're trying. I mean, I've been in conversations with them for about 6 months.
Now, when you have conversations, what's them from saying, yeah, we're ready?
That's a great question. I've had that thought myself. But no, it's been ongoing, and a lot of it is they're waiting on what the SEC does.
Yeah.
And, it's all a shell game. Can they move this person here to this and here? And so, but we are, I'm actively talking to them and have been talking to them, for probably a little more over 6 months.
Because the SEC has announced they're going to stay with 8 for right now. Mm-hmm. Likely go to 9 when everybody else goes to 9. The Big Ten's at 9, maybe 10, depending on. So that they've got to keep up with a lot of other things too.
Absolutely, no question. And then, so what happens now is then, like the group of 5, they still want their money game too.
Yeah.
Like for example, Monroe or Tech, they're
Yeah.
still going to get paid by Alabama or LSU. And, so, it's a shell game, and
A lot of moving parts.
there's a lot of moving parts. And like I said earlier, football scheduling really is a job in itself. It is.
Hardest thing you've had to do?
It's one of, for sure. That and changing culture and continuing to change a culture that we have here. But football scheduling from a day-to-day is the most monotonous thing there is.
And you never thought you'd have to do that, did you?
I did not. 26 years ago, I
Look at
never
you
thought
now.
of it. Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
With that in mind, Gary Goff is our guest this week. Coach Goff has his own scheduling ideas, but also his own ideas on how he's changed the culture here at McNeese State. We'll come back to this on Polk Nation.
Welcome back to Polk Nation. Coach Goff, welcome back, buddy.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. So, how's your summer been?
Pretty busy with recruiting. It's starting to come to a little bit of an end right there, but going good. We our players reported a week ago. We had high school camps all last week. We got a kicking camp going on right now. So we had a lot going on, but it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah. So, obviously, all the new guys that showed up and that are here. I mean, wow, what a difference they look.
Yeah.
I mean, they look so much different.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we had a little over 100 players report last Monday, first day of class, and we got size. We're young. We're going to be young. That's okay, but we got some size. But roughly about 38 new faces since the spring semester ended. So it's good to get them in here, get them acclimated, and then we started right away. First thing Monday morning at 7 a.m. They're out there lifting and running. So we've only been doing that for a week now, so this starts week 2 with that. But good to be around the guys again.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We talked a lot about this year about filling certain needs.
Yeah.
And it seems like up until the last minute you were filling certain needs.
Recruiting never stops. It's a different day and age.
But you essentially got 2 potentially big-time receivers in the last month.
Yeah.
Where are you now with that? And did you fill all the needs, do you think?
Well, I sure hope so. So we've got, now we've got about 8 brand new receivers from a year ago. I've been very honest about that. I just felt like that was one position we're not good enough a year ago, and even coming out of spring ball, we just still needed to improve right there. So, getting Marcus Peterson is a big addition for us. He's got a big ceiling. He's extremely athletic and a big guy. And then Jihad Marks, he was a junior college all-conference player in Northern California last year and had, I think, 70-plus receptions and another big-time player for us. And then throw in that all of our true freshmen that just got here. So we had 6 true freshmen that joined us last week. So it's excited to get them out there, get them running around. We're a lot bigger than we were a year ago at that position.
Not only there, but you're bigger across the board.
We are. We're bigger across the board. Our smallest tackle is 6'5". The tackles are giants. And then on the defense too. We got some linebackers with good range and good link to them. And then pretty much secondary. Everybody in the secondary we signed in December.
Yeah.
They've been here since January, which is another area that we vastly needed to improve. And we got good size there too. I think when people see us line up, they're going to notice that it's a definitely different team. We just got a lot of size to us.
So, Coach, talk about this. So, obviously, they're here on campus.
Yep.
Talk to Polk Nation and what does their day look like? What exactly are you able to do, and what from the weight room to all the meetings, whatever it is. Talk about what their day looks like.
Yeah, it's a pretty full week, to be honest, when you throw class in there as well. So, their day gets started at 6 a.m. So they'll have a player real quick team meeting at 6 a.m. That's just for them to make sure everybody's here. It's one of our deals for them holding each other accountable. So they'll have a real quick meeting call roll at 6 a.m. Then they're out on the field at 6 a.m. sharp, and then they condition for roughly about an hour. And then from there, the entire team goes and eats breakfast at 8 o'clock. After breakfast, then they got weight groups throughout the day. So we got one weight group's at 9:45, another one's at 11. Then all the young guys are after lunch at 1 o'clock. So in between that, they have their class schedule, so they're also dealing with classes. Then twice a week, we're allowed to meet with them a little bit and then actually do a little bit of football skill development with them. So it's a pretty full week. Pretty excited. The guys got together Saturday, I was told, and almost everybody was out there on the field Saturday getting some extra work in. So, they're eager, they're excited. What this allows us to do is when camp starts, they'll have kind of already been through our installs. So they're going to know, basically, most of the offense, defense, and special teams by the time camp gets here.
Well, I will tell you this from I'm a former coach, that if your team is player-led,
Yeah.
you have a way better chance. And,
Yeah.
I know last year this time it wasn't that way, right? So, but for your guys to show up at 6 in the morning and hold each other accountable,
Yeah.
Those are the things that lead you to success.
Well, we've got 5 guys that are our tag holders, and our tag holders are basically our team captains. We don't do how some people do. Everybody votes to see who team captain is. It's a popularity contest.
No,
So
exactly right.
our tag holders are our captains, and I think I mentioned on the show back in the spring. D'Angelo Durham's going to be one of our upperclassmen running backs. This is during spring practice. I show up and he comes up to me and says, "Coach, I hope you're not going to be mad at me, but I sent 2 guys home." I'm like, "Why did you send 2 guys home?" He said, "Well, I know we're getting started at 6 a.m., but players, we started meeting at 5:45, and they were late to the 5:45 meeting, so I sent them home." So I kind of laughed, and like you just said, if it's player-led, you got a chance to do something special, And I just told them that again this morning. We had a couple guys going through the motions. I said, "Hey, guys, I'll coach for another 20 years. This is y'all's football team. What do you want to be known for, and what kind of season do you want? So put in the hard work right now and hold each other accountable."
You guys, as far as that goes and what you've accomplished this year, how much has the culture changed within a year?
It's changed a good bit. We're young. We're still, developing leaders. Some guys are figuring out their roles or whatnot. We had the 15 seniors last year, and by nobody's fault, but they went through a lot, right?
Yeah.
Had a lot of different coaches in and out of their lives. So, they didn't have the same care that maybe some of these young guys coming in have right now. We got to bottle that and hold on to it.
We come back on Coach Nation. We're going to talk, Coach, about specifics of the team and what his hopes are to find out in the next couple of weeks after this. We're back with Coach Gary Goff, McNeese State football coach. And, Coach, one of the questions that a lot of people ask me is always about your schedule.
I thought you were going to say quarterback, but schedule's good.
That's good.
That's coming.
We'll have you in July at some point. We'll ask that question. You'll know a little more. But the schedule, as far as setting a schedule, Coach talked about the toughness of doing a schedule recently. You started home unlike last year,
Right.
but then you go to Florida. Do you like playing the SEC schools? I know the money-wise is great, but
Money-wise is great. Yeah, I tell you, it'll be obviously a big challenge, right? But it is also pretty cool to go into an environment like that for our guys to get to experience that and go up against one of the better teams, in the country, and that'll be fun, because again, a lot like last year, it's going to give us an idea of where we're at, but. The SEC is a big task,
Yeah.
And but at the same time, you want to be in environments like that. You want to be on the big time stage like that, and so we're not looking at it as, oh my gosh, we got to go do that. We're kind of looking at it as, hey, it's going to be exciting. Let's go there and do our best and see what happens.
just to put a little pressure on you, you are catching them at a good time. They're going at Utah the week before.
I know.
And Tennessee the week after. So you should be able to sneak in an upset.
But after that, we become road warriors.
Yeah.
That's kind of been our battle cry for a while now, because it'll probably be like that for the next couple of years, because like Heath mentions, the scheduling is very difficult right now.
Is there more people interested in coming down here in the last couple of years, or is there less?
It's just harder to find a game period. I would say less in the short time I've been here, And, everybody's looking for the money games, right?
Yeah.
There's only so many of those, and it's very difficult to find another FCS school that wants to play you outside of our conference.
Yeah, that's one of the things why expanding a conference would be good for the ADs to do.
I'm just telling you, it is. It's brutal. I
Yeah.
mean, just the amount of time that it takes from the scheduling, and there's so many moving parts. It really is. It is a job in itself to find football games and moving forward. But it is what it is, and we'll make the best of it. But it is. But I will tell you, I think it's harder now And after this year, I think it's going to be even harder for us to find games, especially with quote-unquote like opponents.
Yeah.
Well, we're scheduling out right now as far as 27.
Correct.
Which is amazing. And we're not even quite finished for 24 and 25.
Yeah, exactly
So, but you got to get the games where you can.
Some of the kids that you've brought in, there's a lot of talk about the one big kid from the offensive lineman. How's he look, and how big is he?
Oh, you're talking about Jamal Franklin.
Yeah.
Jamal is 6'6", and he is every bit of about 378 right now. But moves extremely well, and we've got him on a summer plan with our strength staff, and they're kind of helping him with his diet and everything. But extremely hard worker, can flat out run. He was committed to Houston for quite some time, and pretty much shut down all of his recruitment. And then I don't know exactly what happened there. I think they dropped him, and then we signed him in December, early signing period. But love his attitude, great young man, great family, always has a smile on his face, just a big teddy bear, but he can flat out move.
You did a lot of late recruiting and really bumped up your recruiting late. How hard was that process? Because you're now looking, when you're going into the portal, I guess at that point in time, you're looking at teams that have specific needs like you.
Well, I don't know if we did a lot of late recruiting. We signed 17 high school guys, and then we signed 16 mid-year guys that joined us in January. But coming out of spring, we knew there was a couple areas we needed to correct, and one was the D-line, the other one was the receiver position. So yeah, I mean, we recruited those positions extremely hard, through spring and through all summer. And everybody's looking for those spots, right? I mean, I guarantee every receiver we visited here, they also visited Kent State, UConn, might be Lamar, might be Incarnate Word, might be Southeastern. But they had so many visits, and another issue with recruiting right now is there's no limits on how many visits they take. So me and Heath joked about it. No, we're not joked about it. We're upset about it for a while. But we've got to put ourselves in their shoes. If I'm a young man being recruited, why not take 8 visits throughout the spring and summer? I mean, everybody's going to buy me a steak dinner. I get to go see what they're like. So it's just a new wave of these recruits on what they're looking for and why. But no, we signed probably about 7 guys here down the stretch, and mainly D-line and receivers.
Well, Coach, let me ask you this. So in recruiting, let's talk about the new locker room.
Yeah.
Obviously, it came out a week ago. How excited are you? How much has that helped you in this recruiting class, being able to show pictures of it, and what do you think?
Well, I mean, hey, we sell the dream, right? We sell. We're now going to have it, So, no, I mean, the locker room is going to be a big upgrade for us. I mean, and y'all know this from recruiting. It's always about keeping up with the Joneses and who can get a step ahead. Right. Well, that locker room will be the nicest in FCS. I mean, it's going to be state of the art. So very excited about getting that here in about 4 weeks. It'll be completed. And these mid-year guys we got. I mean, that was part of it. We're us showing them the locker room. Hey, this is going to be your locker room this summer. So I think with that locker room, obviously with the press box being in the works and everything, I mean, we've been selling a dream. Hey, we will have the nicest facilities at this level, for sure, no doubt about it. But now the fact that we're going to be able to walk families through there in this next recruiting cycle is going to pay dividends. And it's just going to be our players are going to be proud of it. They're proud and excited of it. So it's about the kids, right?
No doubt about
that's one big difference between this group and the groups that have been here the last few years is the change of what the facilities are. There is more of a pride in this place, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the guys, even the returners, they're kind of like, Coach, we can't believe we're getting this. I'm like, what do you mean you can't believe we're getting it? I told you we're going to do great things here. Yeah, but Coach, there's been talk about stuff for so long. And at the same time, some of these guys are very impatient. I think we should have had it yesterday. But no, we're excited about it. We actually had a couple of our alum back for camps last week, and we're excited about it as well. Like, hey, Coach, we saw that online. That's amazing. So it's going to help us recruiting a lot and retention. Let's be honest. Guys want to know they're being taken care of. So it's only going to help.
When we come back with Coach's final thoughts after this on Poke Nation. We're back. This is the end show between you and I until January, until July. Mm-hmm. Your quick thoughts on the year that was. We'll get into next year and the next shows, but your quick thoughts on the year that just ended.
I think we made a lot of progress. I think we made some strides. I think we now have the right people in place at the key positions, especially, with Coach Wade and Coach Goff and our 2 revenue sports. I think we finally got the 2 guys that can lead these 2 programs to the success that this department and this university need them to have.
And getting the right people in place it took 2.5 years, almost 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But is that the biggest accomplishment for you so far?
I think that, and then the formation of MAF. It is the I've said we have way too many clubs. The model will not work moving forward into the future. And,
Are the clubs happy to hear that?
Probably not, but I mean, but at the end of the day, for us to move forward, we have to, we have to change the mindset.
Just streamline everything.
Exactly right. And there's a reason why, look, there's no Division I institution that I know of or been at that operates this way.
Yeah.
Right. For us to get to where we ultimately want to be, we have to adapt as well. That change, that culture change is very difficult. And it was the model that was extremely successful in the 90s and early 2000s. But there's a reason why, no other Division I institution operates that way.
Look, I was all for it, so I'm all for that change. I'm all for any change possible.
That's positive,
because
right?
of what,
That's positive,
just
for sure.
What we've seen here didn't work. It stopped working probably 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that it was fine when you were being little, but you're no longer wanting to be little.
Right. Well, think about it this way, okay? If you are, and there's a great donors in this community, but if 10 people come to you a year and ask you to buy this table, come to this golf tournament, put your sign over here 10 times, eventually you just get worn out.
Yeah.
Versus you put all of it under one umbrella and you get one ask and it's strategic and everything's going in one direction and saying, okay, Jim, instead of getting it 10 times, I'm going to come to you, let's sign a 4 or 5 year deal, and this is what you're going to get, and this is what your write-off's going to be, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's easier for you.
Yeah.
And it's easier to manage as a department. But when you have 10 different people running around asking the same people to sponsor this golf tournament, that golf tournament, people look and go, what are we doing?
Well, you get one yes, and it covers 4 years, whereas you got to go back every year and get yes, 15 times a year.
And then you as an athletic director, you never know what is being talked about or what is being said from different club presidents to all these things, versus everything is in-house, everything is streamlined, going one direction, one message, and it has been proven. We've went from MAF from $400,000 to $2.4 million in 3 years. So that it works. It has been proven to work, and it's obviously a process, but the process is moving forward.
Will you get a stadium deal done this summer?
I don't think I doubtful it'll be this summer, but before the end of next year, yes.
What's holding it up? Is there anything in particular holding it up?
There's
people want to see the press box up.
They want. I think people want to see the press box up, and then obviously I'm talking to more than one business and more than one person to find out.
Oh, you're playing people off each other.
To get the best deal possible for McNeese.
Have you had your Will Wade dinner yet?
Not yet, but supposedly this summer. Yes.
And how much did you get for Will Wade's dinner?
There was $60,000 purchased for that dinner.
And how did you sneak in and get a free dinner in that part?
You know what?
Where is that part of the deal? Was that part of the buy to begin with?
Mr. Mallet, who bought the dinner, who is an unbelievable supporter of ours and a dear friend of mine, he invited me.
You don't say no to a free meal.
I do not. No.
Coach and I would like to take the last half minute here to thank all of our sponsors for the year. Thank Marcus behind the camera especially. Thank Coach for his time. I got nothing to do, but Coach, you're a busy man, a lot of time. But what has this show meant for you? Real quick.
I love it. It allows us to connect to the community. So many of the people in the community have come up to me. I know they come up to you and how much they really enjoy the show.
They think you're picking on me, yes.
Yeah, and vice versa. But I also think that it truly it enables us to educate and inform Polk Nation on all the great things that are happening and where we're heading.
So keep watching next year as we head into a new year, an exciting year at McNeese. We'll see you in July on Polk Nation.